大家好. Okay, so today we're going to talk about something that is quite important. It's called 造诣. Okay, 造诣means the intent behind the movements. Okay, so 造 is a unit, almost a unit in Chinese martial art. 一招,两招,三招. How many 招 are within a form? So say a Taiji Chuan that has 32 movement, or 小八极, let's say 小八极. 小八极 has 30 招 or 31招, depends on what lineage you're in. So 招 is a unit. 招 is our movements. 造诣 is the intent that is behind the movement. This is extremely important, and I believe that a lot of people think 套路 or form sequences are useless because it's lack of 造诣. Okay, 造诣, the intent behind the movement, meaning that first requirement is you have to understand the usage, the application, the power, delivery. Everything you have to understand in order to make sense, in order to think behind the movement. Or else if you don't know the application, you're just doing the movement, then that becomes a dance. Okay, so part of the problem of a 套路 or a form becoming a dance is because it's too long, right? So let's say you dissect a form that has 32 movements into combos, right? So a lot of these forms are made up of like short segments of combos. Okay, so you deliver something. Okay, you deliver a bongquan, for example, in praying mantis. You deliver a bongquan, you expect someone to block, and once he blocks, you torso grabs, and then you throw down, right? So for example, that's a 3 movement combo, and if you break a form down into segments of combos, then it doesn't seem as useless as if you put everything together. So that's why when people see combos, even when they see it, when people are viewing a combo, they can see what's going on, right? So they feel like, oh, that's combo, that's practical. Okay, it doesn't mean that, it's only because it has intention behind it, right? So when you do this, okay, you understand that someone attacked. This is a press. This is an attack to the face. This is not a groin punch, or I'm not just like flapping my arms like this. So this is with an intent behind it, right? So when you have intent behind things, it looks different visually. It looks different, all right? So your 意念 deliver differently. Your whole body, the power generation, power delivery, all makes a whole lot of difference compared to you're just doing a movement. And it applies to, say, a modern dancer, or not to say dance is bad, right? So if you see a modern dancer, if you see even a street dancer, they also have to deliver a spirit, right? There's certain movement or certain eyesight, a posture or a pose, right? So they're delivering, some sort of spirit, right? So a lot of people, when they train in these traditional dance or modern dancing, that mind aspect of it plays a big part. It just happened to be, in Chinese martial art or any martial art that has some sort of kata, it makes a big difference when you know what the application and the power delivery behind this, every movement that you do. And in order to do that, an important element is you need to be able to visualize an opponent, right? So here's a person, and where's the head, where's the shoulder, where's the arm, right? So when you just do this, what does that mean, right? But if you visualize there's an arm, there's an elbow here, and that your intention is to press the wrist and break the elbow. And if the teacher tells you, where's the vulnerable point, so it's not just this, it's more like this. There's an angle instead of this, it's this, right? So if you understand all that stuff, the accuracy of the movement becomes that much, just that much meaningful, even from a viewer standpoint, right? So one of the earlier episode that we talk about 练语用, right? So when you train versus when you apply are sometimes different, right? So 招义 is the key element to really combine the practicing and the training versus applying, right? So when you have the 招义 in there, it combines the two. Some examples, right? So when you practice 剑, right? Swords, Chinese straight swords. The intent is extremely important. Weapons is just a hard object, right? It's just a dead object you're holding in your hand. You need to treat it as an extension of your arm. So it is important to have that 意念, the mindset, to be delivered. So what does that mean? For example, if I'm doing a movement like this, okay, so what does this mean? This circle means you have to first visualize, like I said, you have to visualize there's an opponent, there's a sword here, you parry to the side, and you stick to the sword, and you return with a hui. Okay, those who learn the 十字剑诀, takes the 十字剑诀 class, understand what this is, right? So when you have a movement with the application behind it, you get it. And when you do the form, it makes that much more sense. Without it, it would just look like a dance move. Why is this person waving the sword? He doesn't even know. So when you guys do performing a form, you must understand the application of it. Sometimes when there's a sequence, you have to visualize. If I do this move, this opponent is going to fall. Then when he's doing, or he's going to return another strike, he's going to block, or whatever the reaction is. The person who designed the form is basically setting up these scenarios or these presets. So you just have to understand the meaning behind the move. So when you do the form, it will be a lot more rich with context, and it will look much better. Okay. Okay, so that's that. See you guys.